Hi, today we're talking about celiac disease and gluten intolerance. I'm talking with Dr. Tom from Natranet. Dr. Tom, a lot of restaurants and people are talking about eating gluten-free. Is this something that people have just become more aware of, or is this becoming a bigger problem in our society?
Definitely it's becoming more prevalent in our society, and definitely more and more people have become much more aware of the issues that are related to gluten. Many years ago, even 50 years ago, gluten intolerance or celiac disease, which is the true allergy, we'll say, to gluten, which is in common grain products like wheat and oats and spelt and barley, etc. So in a celiac person, they basically are restricted from eating those types of foods because it causes a lot of issues. And we used to think that it was a condition that mostly affected the gastrointestinal tract and basically caused failure to thrive. These children, and it was usually diagnosed in children, they had these issues. However, it's totally changed now. In fact, now gluten intolerance, even celiac, is not being diagnosed till usually people are in the fifth decade, in their 40s and 50s. Even though they've been eating these grains, bread and pasta and bagels and all that type of thing all their life, and then suddenly they start to seem to have there's certain types of problems that are associated with gluten. So there's a number of potential reasons for that. Yes, certainly awareness is that. There seems to be the fact that the genetic modification of the actual grain that grows and then is harvested and made into different types of flour products is a contributing factor. But in addition to that, our gastrointestinal tracts, with the exposure to so many different types of food additives, are potentially a problem. Many people have imbalances in their gastrointestinal flora, which can also be contributing to that. The use of antibiotics almost indiscriminately changes the flora. That can make a person more susceptible, who may have been able to tolerate it beforehand, and then after they finish a course or several courses of antibiotics for some chronic type of a condition, that can then make them gluten intolerant. So we definitely have seen an uptick in it. So it's no accident that more and more companies are able to sell and make products that basically do not contain gluten. And while a small percentage of the population, potentially 1 in 3 to 1 in 5 people out of 100 will have true celiac, a much higher percentage of people will indeed have what we call gluten enteropathy or gluten intolerance. And some gastroenterologists are suggesting that could be as high as 1 in 3, even 1 in 4 people who basically have this particular type problem. And it's absolutely something, and with a whole number, especially patients with chronic illness, that needs to be closely monitored and closely looked at, because it can have a very devastating effect. In fact, there's lists of different types of symptoms that patients will have with gluten, as numbering up into the 125, 140 types of different symptoms. So one needs to look at that, and then if it is a gluten intolerance, there are definitely things that can be done other than just saying, oh, I'll never be able to eat gluten again. I'll need to do a gluten-free type product. But there are ways to support the entire digestive system. In fact, highly encouraged for this more and more common type problem that we see.
Great. Thanks, Dr. Tom.
You're welcome.